she is. She tells me when I can call to work. I'll call the meeting of the Carbon County Board of Commissioners to order. Please rise for a moment of silence, prayer, and pledge of allegiance. Lord, be with us today as we meet. Grant us the wisdom to know what we must do, the will to want to do it, the courage to undertake it, the perseverance to continue to do it, and the strength to complete it. We ask this in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of preparing accurate written minutes. Recordings are overwritten following approval of the minutes, eliminating all unofficial records of these proceedings. First item is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held February 9th, 2023.
Motion approved. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Next item is the report of executive sessions held.
There was one executive session held at March 16th, oh, what the heck? February 16th, 23, this morning at 8:45 a.m. for personnel reasons.
Department reports, the budget transfers for 2022 and 2023.
Motion approved. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
There are no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of payroll check numbers 74888 through 74906, and direct deposit check numbers 6050355 through 6050780 for the payroll paid through the payroll fund checking account for all county funds totaling $658,437.57. This is the payroll dated February 10th, 2023.
Motion to ratify. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Approval of check numbers 234329 through 234494 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account totaling $316,318.01.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The treasurer's report?
Move to accept.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Okay, at this time, we'll recess our meeting for, and call the salary board, convene the salary board last week.
First item, guests?
Any guests concerning salary board business this time? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Report of executive sessions held.
There were none.
Next item, court administration, Judge Nanovic?
So I have two motions, as you see on your agenda. I think they should be short and simple. The first motion is to establish the position of one treatment court coordinator at $19.21 per hour, grade 9, step A, effective as of February 9th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Judge Nanovic?
Yes.
Mr. Severcek?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
And the second then is to abolish the position of one treatment court coordinator / court grant manager, which had previously been set at $18.99 per hour, grade S4, step B, effective as of February 9th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Judge Nanovic?
Yes.
Mr. Severcek?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
That's all I
Thank you,
have.
Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good morning.
Okay. This time, oops.
You okay?
I like to leave with the colors.
Okay. Okay, at this time, we'll recess the salary board meeting again until next week. Okay. Now reconvene the weekly meeting of the County Commissioners.
The next item is the personnel report for county departments.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The acknowledgement for courts and row offices.
Move to acknowledge.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
There are no correspondence received. Adult probation for ratification. Submission of a grant application and acknowledgement of award for funding from the Pennsylvania Partnership, for criminal justice improvement for the BJA Smart Probation Planning Grant in the amount of $20,248. The grant funds will be used for the evidence-based practice training on-site and supplies to be completed by the change companies for up to 20 participants. The project period is December 1, 2022 through December 1, 2023.
Move to ratify.
And I will second that, just on a little bit of discussion. Our director of adult probation is here, and I want you to give an explanation on how the grants are helping our county in a good way.
Thank you. Good morning, gentlemen. Grants are necessary for us to be able to afford different and new programs, be able to sustain programs. This was a grant that became available, which is going to provide us money so that we can bring the change company in and do a training in our department on a new set of, for lack of a better word, guides that we can use with defendants, hopefully to reduce recidivism for the county. So this company will be coming in, doing the training at our office. That is what the grant is going to be used for. It is all reimbursable to the county.
Thank you.
Just for the news media and everyone else here, this is Matt Kimmel, Chief Juvenile Probation Officer.
Adult
in case-
probation.
or
Adult.
probation. The big ones.
The big kids.
The big ones.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
PCCD grant for approval, the award of funding in the amount of $60,648 from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency for the improvement of adult probation services through the reimbursement of eligible salaries for professional staff for the term of July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. The application was approved January 26, 2023. Agenda item 23-037.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Advertising. For approval, authorize the advertisement of all legal notices relative to the 2023 municipal primary election.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Children and Youth for approval and execution. Children and Youth Services fiscal year 2021-2022 amended fourth quarter Act 148 invoice report totaling $1,234,171.
Motion approved and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Communications for approval and execution. A full-service maintenance agreement with Printastat Incorporated of York, Pennsylvania to extend the warranty on the recently purchased HP Design printer for 1 year at a cost of $827.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Coroner for approval, an application for funding from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, National Network of Public Health Institutes, and International Association of Coroners to support the purchase of supplies to assist in the facilitation of timely and comprehensive data sharing with Vital Records Office and public health agencies. The funding requested is $7,493.80 for printers, $8,479.83 for cameras and batteries, and $7,000 for the upgrade of the Quincy software, for a total request of $22,973.72. The grant opportunity is listed at $20,000, with the balance to be paid through the Vital Statistics Fund.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Information Technology for approval and execution. A 3-year service agreement with Penn Teledata for internet access for via cable modem for the Emergency Operations and Training Center at a monthly recurring fee, and I have a corrected fee amount of $92.95 per month.
Yeah, move to approve and execute with corrected recurring fee.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Procedure consideration for approval. Institute a revised Mock Chunk Lake policy, admission policy, that prioritizes Mock Chunk Lake beach access on Saturdays, Sundays, and county holidays during the swimming season to county residents. Includes Coldell residents attending the Panther Valley High School School District, season membership holders, senior citizens, veterans, Mock Chunk Lake campers, and pavilion renters.
Move the table for 2 weeks.
I'll second that.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
A purchase of service agreement for approval and execution. The purchase of service agreement under the Sourcewell contract number 030321 KON with Edwards Business Systems of Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, for one BizHub copier and printer at a total cost of $5,119.10, .00524 for black and white copies and .04354 for color copies billed quarterly, located at the correctional facility. Maintenance will be fixed for the first 3 years, with a 5% increase on the anniversary of install.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The solicitor's report?
Thank you. For the Area Agency on Aging, seeking approval and execution of a renewal of the Hospital Community Showcase Agreement between the County of Carbon, Area Agency on Aging, and Innovair Medical Media for a 20-second advertisement at St. Luke's Hospital Carbon Campus on the surgery waiting LCD screen commencing on April 1st, 2023 for a period of 12 months ending March 31st, 2024 at a monthly rate of $165 plus a monthly tech fee of $35 for a total monthly fee of $200. A $200 security deposit is required within 15 days of the contract execution. Excuse me. And this is no increase in the contract amount.
Motion approved and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
And for the county parking lot, seeking approval and execution of a special activities agreement for the use of the county parking lot submitted by Running with Angels Incorporated of Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania for their fundraiser running event on May 13, 2023.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Nothing further for the solicitor's report.
Any further business? Commissioners' reports. Mr. Honor?
Nothing today.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yeah, just one item, and speaking specifically to the public who's attending virtually, I'd highly recommend taking a look at the Times News of Valentine's Day, February 14th, and read Bruce Frasinelli's journalistic piece on salary challenges hit carbon government hard. He makes some really solid points there. I don't think he does a good job of defending his thesis about ineffectiveness of county government, but nonetheless, I think it's a good piece worth reading. So that's all I have.
Mr. Notstein?
I have nothing today. So we'll adjourn the commissioners' meeting. This time we'll what, I don't know if you're gonna want another chair for Cat.
We're good. All right,
Okay. You sure?
that was quick.
Well, we knew you were here. Yeah. Any news media need to be somewhere else? You're good?
Yeah, I saw.
Okay, Jim, hang on.
Do you have any questions?
Okay, I'll now call the monthly meeting of the retirement board to order. Turn the program over to our Controller, Mark Beard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. I'm glad the media is staying today. Okay, first we'll start with seeking a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting held January 19th of 2023.
Motion approved.
Second.
And Mr. Zelinka,
Yes.
Mr. Svercek, yes. Mr. Arner,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Guests concerning county business. We do have our Marquette guests, Sarah Wilson and Kat Armstrong from Chicago is joining us as well. Report of executive sessions, there weren't any held. Next, I'll seek a motion to ratify the warrant, including checks number 40882 to 40885, and direct deposit 7020342 to 7020746 for the month of January.
Motion ratified.
Second.
Mr. Zelinka?
Yes.
Mr. Svercek, yes. Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Thank you. The January activity report in your packet, we had 3 retirement refunds, monthly benefits for the dispersed in January totaling $470,824.22, refunds of $1,790.58 for a total disbursement of $472,614.80, leaving our portfolio value as of the end of January of $84,916,688.74. Most recent, I always do the Friday before, the portfolio value as of February 10th was $84,752,645. So we're having some nice rebound from the end of 2022, which Sarah will cover in a few minutes. Any questions on any of that? Okay, next then we'll go to correspondence. I did not have any correspondence to report. Solicitor's report,
No report.
thank you. And now we'll come to the investment manager's report with Mrs. Wilson from Marquette. Thank you.
Sarah, would you like to introduce your
I
guest
will.
today?
Good morning. That's everybody. Kat Armstrong. She is a senior client analyst on this account. She works with me on a lot of counties that we work with. She's kind of the backbone of getting all this work together, and she works with the investment managers, make sure all the performance is done with, and also helps with a bit of research, client education. She's the one who puts all of that together. So welcome, Kat, and it's been nice to have her come out and meet with all of you.
Welcome.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about last year so we get an understanding of what happened in the market. We know that it was a tough year. We did have a nice bounce back on the fourth quarter. And I just want to go to Exhibit 1 real quick. And I think what's really important, we always do an update on Marquette just to keep you up to date on what's happening in the company. Last year, we had a record hiring of 40 more employees, and I think that says a lot for the firm. We're at 140 plus employees now. We really put back into the infrastructure of the firm, and that, means performance. We look at that. We've hired performance analysts. We hired client analysts. We've hired some more consultants, but we're really putting back in so that that Marquette, even through when you see all these struggles of companies through a very difficult financial time, we're still investing in this business. The other thing that I think is a great highlight is Kreku, who's one of our owners, was appointed by President Biden to the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation Advisory Committee in November. So that is a huge thing for us. We're really excited about that. All right, so let's talk about what happened in the market. We'll go to Exhibit 2, and we talk about what's been going on. And, I've tried to put a little bit of an update in this because we did have things come up. So U.S. real GDP grew by 2.9% in the fourth quarter. And we look at that graph, and you can see that on the page 10, you can see that it's gone up, and then it's gone down year to year. And then we talk about what happened with CPI this year. So remember in June, year over year went up to 9%. We had that huge spike in CPI, and we know the market just said, here we go. And the Fed started to raise rates. So we saw it going down, and now it's spiked up a little bit. The market had said they thought it was going to go up 0.4 in January. It actually went up 0.5, so that's 6.4% year over year. So we have seen a little bit of an increase on that. And we know CPI measures the cost of goods and services. We know one of the things that's been amazing, and all of you are probably feeling this, is food is up 10% from last year. I know everybody goes on about eggs, but it's also, across the board. And then we look at gas prices. Gas prices have fluctuated, but they've been up. And we know that gas was up in January about 30 cents. So when we look at that, we look at wholesale prices also came out today and rose to 0.7%. So we are looking at what the market wanted at about 0.40 and went to 0.7. And we look at that and we know we talk about the Fed and we talk about what's happening and we look at what we're thinking about a recession. And it was interesting, CNBC just did a poll and said that 46% of people they surveyed feel like we're already in a recession right now. The market we're not officially in a recession, but if you look below at page 10, you look at that U.S. leading economic indicators in U.S. recession, you can see index declined by 4.2 over the previous 6 months, largely due to weakness in manufacturing and housing indicators. And we know, when Fed's rate goes up, we know mortgage rates go up, and it's gone up in a very tight market. We know that the real estate market in the last couple of years is at an all-time high, and that it's just slowly started to affect the real estate market right now. And it's a lot harder for the new home buyers. So you've got, rates are very up, and they're not as bad as they've been. A lot of us have seen rates at 9-10% going in and getting a mortgage. The problem is market value is so high, and then you look at the cost of goods, you look at the cost of gas, and then you also look, and we'll talk a little bit about this, about disposable income. So that first-time home buyer, it is a little bit tough to get in there. We look at what's happening with unemployment. Unemployment's at 3.4%. It's the lowest rate since the 1969. I think what's interesting about that is what they're starting to see is that there is job openings, which increased to 11 million as of December. What they're expecting is that they're not going to lay people off. They're just going to get rid of those jobs out of the job market. So they're going to say, okay, we can't fill them. We're going to eliminate those jobs. When we see what's happening with rising rates, we also know the consumer about spending. So let's go look at bottom of page 11. You look at disposable income. Remember in 2020, we kind of always sometimes go back to COVID because that has really moved the market, has changed the dynamics. People work from home now. We know that a lot of companies, smaller companies, especially in the restaurant service industry, just never opened back up. One of the things that happened with consumer spending is there was nowhere to spend money. So they held on to it, and then they got the stimulus checks. So we see that spike in there that's gone up, and you can see in the top of the green is spike, and now it's started to go down. So we wonder what's going to happen with disposable income, and we see that that's slowing down. If you turn the page, we look at international and the global markets. It's page 12. When we were heading in and we talked at the third quarter, we had known that energy prices were skyrocketing, especially in Europe, the UK, and thankfully they've had a warmer winter than expected. And, because of the Ukraine war, which never seems to be, there's going to be an end. We thought that was going to be a blip. It's not, it just keeps going. You can see that one of the things that has gone across the board, not only in the United States, we've seen the projected rate hikes. So we can see outside the U.S. and Europe, the key question for the global economy is also China. Remember last year, China went into complete lockdown again for COVID, and then they kind of opened up again at the end of mid fourth quarter, and then we saw a bump in there. And then we also know that they put a lot of money into infrastructure in China. We look at the asset class returns, the asset class performance on page 13, and we look at how Everything was up for the quarter. Year to date, U.S. equities were down close to 19.2%. Emerging market equities were down close to 20%. Remember, we talk about emerging markets. They're the first to go down, but they're the first to go back up. And they had a nice international markets for the quarter did 17.3%. And then we look at commodities. Commodities for the year were positive. Why? I mean, Exxon did 80% last year. And even though they're down a little bit this quarter so far, they really did. We see gasoline moving. If we turn the page, we talk about 14, we talk about earnings. So earnings have been keeping the market resilient. You know, we had some great corporate earnings. And then the fourth quarter, the market said, you know what, fourth quarter, the earnings have been a bit disappointing. You know, eventually it's going to get harder when it's more expensive to borrow money. It's, you know, you sit there and you see prices going up, the consumer's not spending as much. But even with that, the S&P is still expected to earn about $53 a share. And before the pandemic in 2019, the S&P per quarter was at 40.59 per share. So that means the S&P 500, all the earnings of those companies, that's your average. And you look at that, so it's not too bad. So we're still seeing corporate earnings, they've gotten through 2020. They're still about 31% higher than 2018 and 2019. So there is some good news. They're just not going to be as good as, you know, they have been in the past. And when we look at that, we look that they are actually more resilient to this inflation and also with the rate hikes. And we talk about the Fed and the rate hikes with there. We know they did it in January. We know that they've been very aggressive last year. You know, with this economic data that's coming out now, they are probably still, you know, we expect them to raise 2 more times. And then maybe they'll just flatten out, and then eventually they'll start lowering. But if you keep on having a job market that's strong, unemployment low, you have CPI, you have corporate earnings, and you also have, you see all of that, it's going to be hard for them to justify start lowering again. So we're just going to kind of sit on the sidelines. Right? It's not a horrible interest rate, but it's a problem. It happens so fast. And a lot of economists believe they lowered it way too, you know, they went down, they cut, and then they just kept going back up. And so that's where you get some volatility in the markets. And then we look at the fixed income on page 16, and I think, you know, we've talked about fixed income. One of the things that you have done as a board is you've diversified. So 10 years sitting here, we'd love to be in bonds, 50% equities, 50% bonds, or however you did it, and you would be expecting some nice returns. This year, the past year, we know that the aggregate was down 13%, marking its worst calendar year since its inception of the index in the 1970s. Negative double digits. You know, years ago you would not have seen that. With some of the diversification, you've actually had some positive performance in a very, very tough year. And so we know there's really not there much to go to fixed income, and that's why you've lowered your fixed income, you've gone into global, you've done infrastructure, you've done real estate. Are there any questions on the market, or we can delve down into the portfolio? Okay, so let's go to Exhibit 3. And we look that you did end up on the market value of December 31st was $81.1 million. You had a net investment gain of $5.1 million for the quarter. And you've also, year to date, you're at, through January, you're at $84.8 million. And so the net investment gain is $4.1 million for the quarter. So you've gained back a lot. You outperformed your relative benchmark, 6.6 versus 6.5 for the quarter. And this is where this diversifying and we've taken a little bit of a value tilt within this portfolio. We know that growth kept on outperforming value. Value in this past fourth quarter outperformed. And you had a negative return of 13.1, but the market, your relative benchmark was down 13.8. So we've done exactly what we said we want to do. When the market's up and you're right on that benchmark or a little bit below, great. You know, you're in a positive territory. It's when you go down that you want to protect yourself. And that's the most important thing for a pension fund. Since inception, the fund's annualized 6.1 and a net investment gain of 35.8 million. So that's since we've been here, Pierce Park. Pierce Park and then to Marquette. Positive attribution was equity managers. We'll look at those. We'll look at the fixed income managers. And I think this is good too. It's, you know, real estate. Last year, every other sector was negative for the year. Your real estate manager did 6.1%, and that was one of the reasons why you did go into real estate. And since inception, you've put it in 2018, you've had an annualized return of 8.5. Now, we know that in 2020, when we looked at real estate, we know that that had gone down. COVID, they had to readjust. And those managers have now re-diversified. You know, a large part of their portfolios are in warehouses, in storage, in multifamily residential buildings. And we've seen a great rise. You know, rent has not gone down, it's gone up. Pittsburgh ranked in the number 4 top most expensive cities last year compared to what the annual income is. And I think that's a very interesting statistic because you're having, as I mentioned, it's harder to come up with a down payment. You're looking at a little bit of higher mortgages. And so rents have become increasingly more and more expensive there. And then we did have some changes during the quarter. We terminated Cohen & Steers Global Infrastructure and added IFM Global Infrastructure on January 3rd. Reason why we did that is we were in queue to get you into your private, your active manager, and see Cohen & Steers Global Infrastructure was actually publicly traded, and we moved that over as you made that decision. Looking ahead, I think we'll do this the next quarter, is I'm going to bring your investment policy statement. I think we've added some addendums. We've updated a lot of the investment policy statements, especially for our counties. So I think it's just a good time to go over it, look at it. There's no changes we're going to make on the asset allocation, but I think it's good to have an updated one. So let's go to page... They're all different on each different report. I'm going to go look and see how the managers did. So let's go to page 39, actually 40. And we'll talk a little bit about how the managers did for the quarter, for the year. And on page 40, you can see the U.S. equity composite was up 8% versus 7.2. So you had some nice outperformance. And year-to-date was down 17 versus the market of 19, so you've had some nice performance there. We look at GWK. Remember, we talked a little bit about GWK. They had struggled in the third quarter. We like them. They're your active manager. They just had 2 holdings that they felt were worth it long term. They got hit by some of the healthcare industry. And you can see they've bounced back 8.6 versus 7.4. We look at the global equity composite, and we look at what Dodge and Cox, remember, in a down market, they've done very well. They were negative 5.8 versus 7.5, and since we put them in May 2020, they've done annualized 17.3% versus 12.6. So you've gotten some nice return from there. Artisan has done well for the quarter, and we look at MFS Global Equity have annualized since September of 2015, 8.2%. It's just a nice manager and a nice fit in that portfolio. We look at non-U.S. equity composite, and that met the benchmark. It did a return of 14.2 year to date. It was a little bit behind by 50 basis points. We did make some changes in January. We added managers Harding and Loevner and Wellington Emerging Markets. They have done well for you in this quarter, especially Wellington did 11.1 versus 9.7. And then we talk about the real estate, even though it was down for the 3 months in the quarter, we look at what it's done for the year, 6.1%. Infrastructure, we jumped in, we still put Cohen and Stearns, even though that we did replace them by the end of the year. I think it's important to notice that for the quarter, they did about 10%. So that was a nice bump in performance. If you turn the page, you look at U.S. fixed income, and I think what we look that's amazing on U.S. fixed income, since July of 2009, CS McKee, they've done a great job for you. They're your active manager. They have annualized since inception 2.1%. They beat the benchmark of 1.9, but years ago we would have seen an annualized of 6-7%, and that is one of the reasons why you have done so many changes, infrastructure, real estate, and going into global managers is because you just don't see it, the returns in fixed income. Fixed income for the quarter did 1.9%, right on your benchmark, and you can see in May 2022, we actually added Baird Core Plus Bond Fund, and for the quarter they did 2.5 versus 1.9. A little bit of performance. They were negative. Everything was negative last year in fixed income, but you were down 12.8 versus a benchmark of 13%. And saying all of that, then we go look at your manager fees. You're at a very low cost. You're at 32 basis points all in for all your managers with all that diversification. And we talk about fees, and when we look at fees, we know, when fees go out, and we know you've benefits going out constantly. You've got over, I think, 500,000 going out every month. We are very fee conscious too. So when we look at this performance, it's net. You've had some nice performance over the last few years. I think we were talking about OCIO, how that has changed, how it's been able to make us nimble in this market. And that, if you did have a manager that underperformed, you wouldn't have to do 3 interviews, wait 2 quarters, get them in and out. So that has really paid off for you. And are there any questions on the performance or the managers? Any questions at all on the plan? Or I want to thank you again. One of the things last week we added Snyder County, so we're now working with 14 counties in Pennsylvania. So we enjoy working with counties, and thank you again. I always like coming to Carbon County and June Thorpe, and I think you're, and the question is, where are we going? You're well diversified. We know this market's going to go up and down. Last year and 2 years ago, I've told you it's going to be a rocky road. I think we're, ahead of it. It's going to be up and down, volatile, and that always affects you. You've got your ADC. You have to figure out how to make sure that you keep funded. And I think we're going to see ups and downs in performance. It would be nice not to see a double-digit negative year, and right now we're off to a good start. Then we're going to have to wait to see what the Fed does. I think we have to look at a little bit of inflation, and then recession, with 46%. I personally think we're, pretty close to a recession. I think we're starting to feel it. And I think that, you look at economics from a global standpoint, and then you talk to the people. You talk to the people who live in Jim Thorpe. You talk to, I can't go to, putting money into, gas, how expensive it is. People are probably going to think, how much money are they going to spend this summer when you look at food prices going up. So it has had an impact, and we've seen it around a lot of our counties.
Any questions for Sarah? Thank you, Sarah. Just a few comments as controller. I think we all realize that the county pension fund is well funded. We're following our well-established investment policy, which is great. And the fact that we disperse $500,000 a month, that's $6 million a year. You have to really put that in perspective with how the fund has done over the years, even with all the negatives that we see now. And even though rising interest rates are harder for borrowers and businesses, one of the positives for the county is the treasurer and I recently met with the representative from the county depository, and the funds in our interest-bearing accounts are now earning over 4%. So that's a bright spot.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, anything under new business? Anything under old business? Anything under further business?
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Amy, I'm gonna let you go first today. We'll hold Jim till last.
Good morning, gentlemen. With regards to the Mock Chunk Lake Park, why did you guys table that for 2 weeks?
We just received from the Parks and Rec Commission, the beginning of this week, their recommendation or input, so we just need time to have our discussions internally.
Okay, and then, on the personnel report, the Assistant Director of Elections has now resigned. So where does that leave the county for this upcoming May election?
Scrambling for replacement, trying to ensure we still do have a safe election. Looking at our other applicants and see what we can do there, so happened real quick, so I really don't have too many answers this morning on where we're gonna proceed. We did talk about it and potential candidates possibly having to re-advertise, possible promotion, whatever. So, yeah, it's really up in the air right now, but it's extremely important that we move ASAP. And we started that process this morning by talking to some people and see where we go from there.
And, I know there's been no formal action on the director position. I know you were in the process of negotiating with that. Where does that stand?
Director position, not good.
Not good.
Not good at all. Not gonna happen, let's put it that way, with the candidate we had selected and decided not to take the position. So we are in dire need of help, let's say, but we're working on it and we'll be reaching out to other counties and et cetera, whatever we need to do. So I'm still confident we'll have a good, clean election, but it's gonna be a struggle.
Okay. That's all I have, and thank you very much, gentlemen.
So which one do you hire first, the director or assistant director?
Whoever's gonna take the job. Yeah, that's up in the air. No, but whichever position somebody decides to take, it'll leave another position open possibly, or two positions, so, we're still talking to people that, applied originally, so still negotiating. Hopefully we'll have something by next week. Not much order I can say, really, it's.
And then salary board was, the drug coordinator, was that the thing you guys been talking about the last couple of weeks, kind of debating, and finally it's come to fruition of
Yes.
hiring? Let's talk about, kind of, making that position.
Do you want me to give the statement on that? I don't wanna offend anybody, but I did in case it actually came up. I mean, this position, and I said, I wanna thank the 3 judges, the court administrator, and HR for working on this job description. I don't think this job would've ever came to the money that was given for this, cause I said we were debating back and forth over, was it gonna be 17 or the 18.99? And I think through the process, that we did the job description and updated it, it actually gave 22 cents more to the position, which I think was, I think it's all of our object, you know, to get to that point, to give the people better salaries in the county. And I think this is one that should be highlighted, that it does work to do the job description, because people will get better pay. And like I said, you know, this was the one where I didn't want 2 positions together at one time, and I said, and the courts, and I said the judges, when we sat down with him, they were, I mean, we all worked together and worked it out, that we got this standalone position. So, I mean, I'm happy with it, and like I said, it wouldn't have happened without the cooperation of everybody.
What's the job title of this person? Like, what would they be doing on a daily basis?
It would be, no, I mean, what is actually, it's coordinator.
Court coordinator.
Yeah.
Okay. James, welcome back.
Thanks. I don't have any questions. Is the position you was talking about though, is that on the agenda?
The coordinator.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just to
salary.
change the salary.
Okay.
Yeah, it was established, but it was to change the salary.
Okay.
Okay, okay, have a good one.